Come and play in the garden, the Ann Taylor. Little sister, come away, let us in the garden play, for it is a pleasant day. On the grass plate let us sit, or if you please, we play a bit and run about all over it. And the fruit we will not pick, or it would be a naughty trick, and that will likely make us sick. Nor will we pluck the pretty flowers that grow about the beds and bowers, because you know they are not ours. We'll take the daisies, white and red, because Mamma has often said that we may gather them instead. Much I hope we always may our very dear Mamma obey, and mind whatever she may say. Deaf Martha, by Ann Taylor. Poor Martha is old, her hair's turned grey, and her hearing has left her for many a year. 10 to 1 if she knows what it is that you say, or she puts the paw with that hand close to her ear. I've seen naughty children run after her fast and cry, "Martha, run, where the bullocks are bold." When she was frightened, laugh at her at last, because she believed the sad stories they told. I've seen other put their mouths close to her ear, make signs as if they had something to say, and when she said, "Master, I'm deaf and can't hear," point at her and mock her and scamper away. I looked to children put Martha to tease, as if she had not enough else to endure. I rather should try affection to ease, and soothe a disorder that nothing can cure. One day when those children themselves are grown old, and one may be deaf and another be lame, perhaps we may find that same children as bold, may tease them and mock them and serve them the same. When we reflect on the days of their youth, a faithful account will their conscience keep, and teach them the shame of serve the truth that, what a man soweth, the same shall he reap. Jane and Eliza, by Ann Taylor. There were 2 little girls, neither handsome nor plain. One's name was Eliza, the other's was Jane. They were both of one height, as I've heard people say, they were both of one age, I believe today. It was fancied by some, who but slightly had seen them, that scarcely difference was there between them. But no one for long in this notion persisted, so great a distinction there really existed. Eliza knew well that she could not be pleasing, by fretting and fuming, while sulky and teasing, and therefore in company artfully tried, not to break bad habits, but only to hide. So when she was old, with much labour and pain, she contrived to look almost as pleasant as Jane, when you might see that in forcing a smile, her mouth was uneasy and ached all the while. And in spite of her care, it would sometimes befall that some cross event happened to ruin it all, and because it might chance that her share was the worst, her temper broke loose and the dimples dispersed. But Jane, who had nothing she wanted to hide, and with whose troublesome arts never tried, had none of the care and fatigue of concealing, and her face always showed what her bosom was feeling. At home or abroad there was peace in a smile, a cheerful good nature that needed no guile. Eliza worked hard, but could never obtain the affection that freely was given to Jane. Learning to go alone, by Ann Taylor. Come, my darling, come away, take a pretty walk today. Run along and never fear, I'll take care of baby dear. Up and down with little feet, that's the way to walk, my sweet. Notice so very near, soon she'll get to mother dear. There she comes along at last, here's my finger, hold it fast. No one pretty little kiss after such a walk as this.
My Mother, by Ann Taylor. Who fed me from her gentle breast, and hushed me in her arms rest, and my cheek sweet kiss pressed. My mother, when sleep forsook my open eye, who was it sung sweet huskily by, and rocked me when I should not cry. My mother, who sat and watched my infant head, and sleeping on my cradle bed, and tears of sweet affection shed. My mother, when pain and sickness made me cry, who gazed upon my heavy eye, and wept for fear that I should die. My mother, who dressed my doll in clothes so gay, and taught me pretty how to play, and minded all I had to say. My mother, who ran to help me when I fell, and would some pretty storm tell, or kiss the place to make it well. My mother, who taught my infant lips to pray, and love God's holy book and day, and walk in wisdom's peace and way. My mother, and can I ever cease to be affectionate and kind to thee, who wast so very kind to me? My mother, I know the thought I cannot bear, and if God please my life to spare, I hope I shall reward the care. My mother, when thou art farewell, old and grey, my healthy arms shall be thy stay, and I will soothe the pains away. My mother, and when I see thee hang the head, 'twill be my turn to watch thy bed, and tears of sweet affection shed. My mother, for God, who lives above the skies, will look the Flanagans in his eyes, if I should ever dare despise. My mother, For could our father in the skies look down with pleasant or loving eyes, if ever I could dare despise my mother?
Sleepy Harry by Ann Taylor. I do not like to go to bed, sleepy little Harry said. Go, naughty Betty, go away, I will not come at all, I say. Oh, silly child, what is he saying? As if he could be always playing. And Betty, you must come and carry this very foolish little Harry. Little birds are better taught, they go to roosting when they ought. Now the ducks and fowls, you know, went to bed an hour ago. And the beggar in the street who wanders with his naked feet, knows not where to lay his head, or he'd be glad to go to bed. The Old Apple Tree by Ann Taylor. Old John had an apple tree, healthy and green, which bore the best codlings that ever were seen, so juicy, so mellow and red. And when they were ripe, he disposed of his store to children or any who passed by his door to buy him a morsel of bread. Little, his next neighbor, one often might see, with longing eye viewing this fine apple tree, wishing a codling might fall. One day as he stood in the heat of the sun, he began thinking whether he might not take one, when he looked over the wall. As he can cast his eye on the tree, he said to himself, how nice it would be, so cool and refreshing today. The tree is so full, and one only I'll take, and I cannot see if I give it a shake, and nobody is in the way. But stop, little boy, take your hand from the bow. Remember, what John cannot see, you just know, and no one to chide you is nigh. There's one who by night, just as well as by day, can see all you do, can hear all you say, from his glorious throne in the sky. Oh, then, little boy, come away from the tree, lest tempestuous wicked act you should be, or better to starve than to steal. For a great God, he even through darkness can look, writes down every crime he commits in his book, nor forgets what he tried to conceal. The Boys in the Apple Tree by Ann Taylor. As William and Thomas were walking one day, they came by a fine orchard side. They would rather eat apples than spell, read or play, Thomas to William had cried. Brother, look yonder, what classes sing where, I drank him over the wall, I must have an apple, I will have a pear, all that should cost me a fall. Said William to Thomas, to steal is a sin, Mamma has often told this to we. I never have stolen, will I begin, so the apples may hang on the tree. You're a good boy as you ever have been, said Thomas. Let's walk on, my lad. We'll call on our schoolfellow Benjamin Green, who to see us I know will be glad. The Butterfly by Ann Taylor. Butterfly, an idle thing, no honey makes, nor yet can sing, as to the bee and bird. Nor does it, like the prudent ant, lay up the grain for times of want, a wise and cautious hoard. My youth is but a summer's day, and like the bee and ant, I lay a store of learning by, and from flower to flower I rove, my stock of wisdom I'll improve, nor be a butterfly. The Cut by Ann Taylor. Well, what's the matter? There's a face, what? Has it cut a vein? And is it quite a shocking place? Come, let us look again. I see it bleeds, but never mind the tiny little drop. I don't believe you'll ever find that crying makes it stop. It is sad indeed to cry at pain for any but a baby. If that should chance to cut a vein, we shouldn't wonder, maybe. But such a man as you should try to be a little sorrow, to run along and wipe your eye, it'll all be well tomorrow. The Disappointment by Ann Taylor. And tears to a mother poor Harriet came, and I listened to hear what she says. I see that mamma, it's pouring with rain, cannot go out in the chase. All the week I have longed for this holiday so, and fancied the minutes for hours. Now that I'm dressed and all ready to go, look at those terrible showers. I'm sorry, my dear, kind mother replied. Rain disappoints us today, but sorrow still more that you fret for a ride in such an extravagant way. We sly disappointments are sent to prepare for what may hereafter befall, for seasons of real disappointment and care which commonly happen to all. For just like today with its holiday lost, is life and its comforts at best. Our pleasures are blighted, our purposes crossed, to teach us it is not our rest. And when those distresses and crosses appear, of which you may surely be tried, you wonder whatever you wasted a tear on merely the loss of a ride. Though the world's pleasures are fleeting and vain, religion is lasting and true. Real pleasure and peace in the paths you may gain, nor will disappointment ensue. The Field Daisy by Ann Taylor. I'm a pretty little thing, always coming with the spring. The meadows green I'm found, peeping just above the ground, my stalk is covered flat with a wild and yellow head. Little mare in your pass, lying over tender grass, skip about and do not tread on my bright but lonely head. I always seem to say, surely winter's gone away. The Holidays by Ann Taylor. Don't you remember it is almost December, so when the holidays come, we're funny, I've plenty of money, I'll buy me a sword and a drum. Was said little Harry, unwilling to tarry, impatient from school to depart, very sure discover this holiday lover knew little of what was in his heart. When on returning I gave up his learning, away from his sums and his books, for playthings surrounded and sweetmeats abounded, shaking still appeared in his looks. But first were delighted, his toys were now slighted, thrown away out of his sight. He spent every morning in stretching and yawning, and went to bed weary at night. He had not the treasure which really makes pleasure, his secret is covered by few. You'll take it for granted what playthings he wanted, and know it was something to do. You must have employment to give us enjoyment, you must have time cheerfully away, and study and reading give pleasure, exceeding the pleasure of toys and of play. To school now returning, to study and learning, with eagerness Harry applied. He felt no aversion to books or exertion, nor yet for the holiday sign. The Orphan, by Anne Taylor. My father and mother are dead, no friends, no relation I know. Now the cold earth is their bed, and daisy will over them grow. I cast my eyes into the tomb, the sight made me bitterly cry. I said, "'Tis this the dark room where my father and mother must lie?" I cast my eyes around me again, and hoped some protector to see. Alas, but the search was in vain, for none had compassion on me. I cast my eyes up to the sky, I groaned, for I said not a word. Yet God was not deaf to my cry, a friend of the fatherless heard. For since I have trusted his care, and learned honest word to repent, he has kept me from every snare, and been my best father and friend. The Spider, by Anne Taylor. "Oh, look at that great ugly spider," said Anne. Screaming, she brushed it away with a fan. "It's a frightful black creature as ever can be, if it would not come crawling on me." "Indeed," said the mother, "I venture to say, Wolfing will try to keep out of your way. For after the fright and the fall and the pain, it must have more occasion with you to complain. Why should you dread the poor insect, my dear? If it hurt you, it be some excuse for your fear. But its little black legs, as it hurried away, and particularly your arm as it went, I dare say. If to fear us, we must grant to be just, and in less than a moment can treat them to dust. Certainly we have no cause to alarm, for were we to try, it could do us no harm. And look, it has got to its home, do you see, the delicate web it has spun in the tree? Why, here, my dear Anne, is a lesson for you. Can learn from the spider what patience can do. When at your business you attempted to play, really good to see in this insect today. Else, to your shame, it may seem to be true. Poor little spider is wiser than you. The Village Green, by Anne Taylor. On the cheerful village green, skirted round as houses small, all the boys and girls are seen, playing there with hop and ball. Now they frolic hand in hand, making many a merry main, and they form a warlike band marching over level plain. Now scans the worsted ball, high it rises in the air, or against the cottage wall, up and down it bounces there. And the hop, with even pace, runs before the merry throngs. Joy is seen on every face, joy is heard in cheerful songs. Which airy and mansions proud, gilded toys and costly fare, would not make the little crowd half so happy as they are. Then contented with my state, where true pleasure may be seen, let me envy not the great on a cheerful village green. The Violet, by Anne Taylor. Down in a green and shady bed, a modest violet grew. Its stalk was bent, it hung its head, as if to hide from view. And yet it was a lovely flower, its colours bright and fair. It might have graced a rosy bower, instead of hiding there. Yet thus it was content to bloom, in modest tints arrayed, and there diffuse the sweet perfume within the silent shade. Then let me to the valley go, this pretty flower to see, that I may also learn to grow in sweet humility. To a little girl that has told a lie, by Anne Taylor. Has my darling told a lie? Did she forget that God was by? That God, who saw the things she did, from whom no action can be hid? Did she forget that God could see and hear whatever she might be? He made your eyes and can discern whichever way you think to turn. He made your ears and he can hear when you think nobody is near. In every place, by night or day, he watches all you do and say. How I wish you would but try to act, and shall not need a lie. When you wish a thing to do that has been once forbidden you, remember that, nor even dare to disobey, for God is there. Or should you fear the truth to tell, as false would ever do so well? Can you be satisfied to know there's something wrong to hide below? Now let your fault be what it may, to own it is the happy way. So long as you your crime conceal, you cannot light and gladsome feel. Your little heart will seem oppressed, as the weight were on your breast. In your mother's eye to meet, would hang your face of shame and heat. Yes, God has made your duty clear, by every blush, by every fear, and conscious, like an angel kind, keeps a watch to bring it to your mind. Its friendly warnings ever heed, and neither tell a lie nor need.